Hi all, welcome back. Red Storm, Dark Blue Defection, Scenario 3, Morning Glory. This is my part 9 of the playthrough. We're on turn 6, kind of halfway through turn 6. Well, we've had an activation, 2 of our flights, of our 4 flights. Warsaw Pact is up next. He's only got 1 flight left, Glasgow, who's still disordered. Yeah, I was wondering, they're looking for the counters, but they're all on the cards at the moment, because we did go into, I went into air combat, didn't I, with Chevy, and I think we both ended up with an abort result. I think the reason we got the abort result was because we've no weapons left at all. Yeah, that's right. And I think he got the abort result from the morale roll, I want to see. He had disengaged, yeah, but he still rolled on morale, yeah. So I think that's the situation. So I have some comments. Actually, I also have something just to mention. I put a well, actually, hang on a sec. Yeah, I just wondered where I was at. I've got part 7's uploaded. I uploaded that today. I haven't had any comments yet. So John and the likes has not had a chance to get to that yet. I put a comment in the header because just to sort of remind people before they start commenting that I get the speed wrong. I can't remember the flight it was. Remember, we're at medium altitude, and I just looked at automatically and said it was speed 5 because I thought it was at high altitude. I go through the whole procedure, and then eventually clicks right at the end that it's got a speed of 4 because it's only at medium altitude. Anyway, put a comment in there. So part 8, I've just been watching back. I've almost finished it. And I noticed, and I'm going to have to be careful with this because I did wonder a couple of times about this. When Chevy last moved, before he moved last, he was in somewhere about here. And this is when he was facing off against the Rostov flight, and I believe it was they attacked. Did they attack it? No. Actually, I think we turned to engage him in BVR. That's right, and then we took him out. However, that's all I done in the hex. I just turned. Now I didn't mark it with a max move marker, and I should have done. So gonna have to be careful with that because that then would have meant that he couldn't turn going into his next turn. And I'm looking back in the video footage saying, oh, but I'm sure I'm going to turn because I'm down here or something like that, facing up that way, and I want to get across to Glasgow. Well, what I actually do, I think I get away with this. I'm pretty sure this is allowed. I actually, in the hex, I climb because I need to reach high altitude the same as Glasgow. So I climb one altitude band, and with that climb, at a speed of 4, I get a 60-degree free turn. So I climb in the hex, and then turn, free turn. And I think I'm allowed to do that, because that max move marker means that my next movement point cannot be a turn. Well, my next movement point that I'm spending is a climb that gives a free turn. So I think that's okay, but please tell me if I've got that wrong. Climb on altitude band. On completing the climb action, flight may make a free turn up to the allowance indicated in the turntable. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's okay. Where's the max move marker? Max turn marker even. Where is that going to be? Turning. Yeah, here we go. A flight that uses its last movement point to turn in a hex, free or max, should be marked with a max turn marker as a reminder. That's what I forgot. It should have been marked. A flight that begins its movement phase in a hex and altitude band, it did not turn in during the previous movement phase, may expend its first movement point to turn up to the maximum turn allowance. I don't like the way they've got that worded, to be honest, but yeah. So if we were in a hex, an altitude band that we did not finish our previous movement phase on a turn, we can expend a movement point to turn. Yeah, I think that's worded in a way that confuses me a little bit. But I think what it means is that Well, if you are in a hex that you finished on a turn and at the same altitude, then you cannot start with a turn. Well, what I done, and I think this is how I've got away with it, I climbed first, then done the free turn. In the same hex, yes, but I think that's okay. But let me know if that's wrong. I'm going to put a comment in the header that it should have been marked with a max turn marker as well, and I'm going to start watching out for that, because I get the feeling I missed that a couple of times, and it just shows you how important that max turn marker could be. Because, you know, I wanted to get turning towards him. I actually thought I'd made a mess of it and I wouldn't be able to do it. I think with having being able to climb the altitude band and turn it fixed it. Anyway, okay. So, and then with that, some comments from John Brown. This is on part 6. He starts, only watched a little bit so far, so comment on what I've seen. There might be more comments to follow, and there is. At the 24-minute mark, as you read, a flight can only attempt to engage a single flight in BVR, F-15s being an exception. I take that to mean if you accidentally engage a dummy, you've wasted your chance to engage. Now, I hadn't thought about that, but I think that's what happened. And I said, right, once I read the rule again, confirmed the rule that I could only attempt BVR on one flight per turn, then I accepted the fact that I couldn't. However, he says here now, I've not looked at this yet. Okay, let me look at this first. Okay, yeah. So John carries on, and he's quite right, of course. Now, this is part 6, so things have moved on. I'm not going to be able to fix this. Well, it's a shame. It's a shame I didn't get it, because it could have made things ended up a wee bit different. I don't know. I can't recall how. Remember, at this moment in time, Glasgow is roundabout where he is. He's over here somewhere. He's about to head towards his rally point, I think. He's disordered. And we had flight B and C, I want to say, still generic flights. So we were hunting for Rostov at this time. And what Chevy does is he attempts BVR on. Right, hang on. He attempts BVR on flight B. It's up here. Wait now. Right. No, it's while we've got the 3 other generic flights, and I move up to BVR combat attempt on the first. To be honest, I can't see the letters of the counters on the. I can't see them what they are. It looks like we bump into the C flight to start with. No, that can't be right, because John says it's C flight we move. It's down here, so it must be something else. Anyway, we attempt BVR. We roll to see if it's a real flight. It becomes a dummy. It gets removed. So I then look at the other flight up here, wondering if I can attempt BVR on that. Find out the rule says you can only attempt 1 BVR combat per turn on one flight. And like John says, if it turns out to be a dummy, then that's just tough. You can't then try and engage again. I then make a turn away from this flight up there to move right up adjacent to flight. Well, John says it's flight C. So, and he says, this is what he comments on. He says, however, as soon as you move Chevy adjacent to flight C, you satisfied the, quotes, non-disordered flight adjacent to an unidentified flight and within 1 altitude band, unquote, part of the visual identification, i.e. C flight gets identified. This means you would know whether it's a dummy prior to attempting to engage BVR standard and could thus try for B or D flight. Oh, right, hang on. Is it when I move? Right. No, sorry, I'm getting this slightly wrong. But yeah, hold on. Yeah, sorry. Is the initial movement up to the flight C? that he's talking about. I'm just looking back again. Sorry, it's gone back a little bit. And I think the reason is because my range is only 1, so I've got to move adjacent to it. Because I think my RHM missiles are gone. They must be. Yeah, they must be gone. Because I'm moving adjacent to try this BVR. So as soon as I move adjacent, I should do the visual ID. So I should identify the flight to find out if it's a dummy or not. However, am I not right in saying, John, that I end up adjacent to another flight down here at the end of this movement? Or am I getting a bit carried away? Maybe I don't. I was thinking that's where you were meaning. Yeah, I actually do. So I actually missed this twice. Because once I've attempted BVR, we found that was a dummy. Like John says, I should have checked it first. Found out if it was a dummy or not, then I'd been able to try BVR on the other one before, because I hadn't actually done the BVR. However, I then turn round and come adjacent to the other generic flight, which is down here somewhere, and I move adjacent to it as well. So I think I'm right in saying, John, that I should have actually done the ID again on that flight as well. So I've kind of missed that. I don't know if you actually comment on that. Ah, you do. Yeah, at the 28-minute mark, same reason as the other comment that you'd activate flight B. Yeah, he does. So he's mentioned that as well. It's just he had separated his comments out. Yeah, so I missed that twice. We could if you move adjacent and it's got it under visual identification on page 16, 10.4. In day conditions, flights are visually identified the instant any of the following conditions occur. The flight enters standard air-to-air combat, that's A, and then B is a non-disordered enemy flight is within 1 hex, has a line of sight, and is within 1 altitude band of the flight. So I just totally missed that, yeah. Not something I would have caught, I don't think. Hopefully now it's stuck with me. So when you move adjacent, then... And it's not about detection, it's about identification. And the fact that we're up against dummies here is very important for us to ID them, because that visual identification then means that the bot has got to go and check. Because, there we go there, right at the top, it says bot flights use generic flight encounters until activated. The generic bot flight is activated if any of the following occur, and it's the very first one there. It is visually identified, and it even references the rule that I've just read out, 10.4. So, yeah, I missed that. Right, something that I'm afraid I can't go back and fix. I want to say that I've made things harder for myself, possibly. So, but I still don't like all that. But I can't really fix it without ripping the video apart and starting, rewinding to a place that, yeah, I don't think we need to go, really. I'm sure everybody else is quite happy to just let that move on. I think it would have been more beneficial for me if I had noticed that, shall we say. Anyway. Right, let's move on. The next point. Now, this is kind of a surprise to me. Yeah, I was a little surprised at this, but again, happy to know the proper way to do these things, of course. This was regarding the speed and turns that you use. Obviously, if you're going, like, just to show you here again, let's just glance at this here. If you're doing a speed of 1 to 2, you can see that your free day turns are 90 degrees, your maximum turns are 180 degrees. If you're up to 3, 4, it's 60 and 120, and then 5 to 8, it's 30 and 90. And it's probably 2 in the middle that can see this situation maybe arise, and not something I thought about, sort of between speed 5 and 4, because certain flights have a speed of 5, but say you want to use just 4, you want to move just 4 speed. So my question was, when I set combat throttle and the altitude I'm at says the speed is 5, however, I'm allowed to use 1 less speed than that. So if I say I'm going to just use 4, do I get the benefit of using the 3 to 4 row here? Or do I still have to use what the actual speed was, the 5 to 8? Well, and this is my surprise is, and I'm assuming this is what you mean. Well, it seems to be clear what you're saying. John, it says, yep, the speed you declare determines which row on the turntable you use. So, just to be sure, John, that's what you're meaning. If we looked at, let's look at this tornado, and let's just say we're at high altitude, and we want to set combat throttle. However, we don't need to spend 5 points in movement, and we're happy to just spend 4. So we say, right, we're only going to set our speed at 4. Is that you saying that we can then, sorry, I'm in the wrong bit, that we can then set our turns at 360 degree turns and 120 degree maximum? I'm pretty sure that's what you're saying. I might sort of ask the question once I get round to responding to your comments as well, just to be completely sure about that. So good to know that one. But I was a little surprised. I would have thought maybe you had to set the 5, but then again, you're going slower, so you are able to turn more, you would think. So yeah, it makes sense. I think I just didn't think that would be the answer, but there you go. Okay.
I'm still going to go round that.
Sorry, I still had the video playing there. I was just looking what his next comment at 40 minutes. Yeah, as discussed in the previous part, this is one where I agree you would override the bot and just declare combat throttle. Well, that's good. And then what it was he was somewhere like here, and he's wanting to reach his orbit point, and the instruction in the bot instructions tell you to set dash throttle, and there's no point in doing that whatsoever, because you're just going to spend an extra fuel point. You're still going to get the same result, because he's just going to go round and round the orbit point. So, and he says, this is one where I agree I would override the bot and just declare combat throttle. And like John said, and I think this is a good point, and he says he would change disordered to quotes, set combat or dash throttle to get as close to the rally point as possible, unquote. So that makes sense. And I think, I don't want to, I know I've been harping on about the ball instructions and saying they're simpler. I think there could be a lot more done with this. Obviously these games are created for 2 players. I know that, and they sometimes they'll add these things on to benefit the solo player and whatever. I think it would be probably not too much work to make some changes to this. Part of me was thinking about maybe looking into this myself and seeing if I could sort of create, because I'm not going to change. I wouldn't change everything the way it done it, but I just think there's a lot of things that could be tightened up within it. And it's a shame, and it's maybe a shame, and it doesn't make it unplayable. It just means that you've kind of got to override the 1 or 2 things, whereas, like John said, there's a couple extra words in there that would make, then you don't need to change anything. Then you don't need to sort of like say, oh, what do I do here? So well, anyway, maybe down the road we can, if we get heavily into the game and I feel like maybe wanting to look at that, but that's not really my kind of thing. That's for somebody else to do, maybe. Anyway, right, I'm just kind of guessing here rather than, by the rules, you technically don't replace it until it activates. Yeah, what he's talking about here is we find out the last dummy flight, so we know there's one generic flight left. We know it's the Rostov flight. It was Rostov flight that came second, wasn't it? I think so. Anyway, we know it's the last remaining real flight. But I was wondering, well, would I just put it out now? And I thought, no, I shouldn't really until it instructs you to do it. And he does say that. He says, by the rules, you technically don't replace it until it activates. But he carries on, but reality is that it's the Su-27s, and I would just switch to the real flight. And I think I think I'll probably not switch until it's the right time, just in case. But the time that we done it looked silly because it was like, right, I'm not going to switch it now. And then the next thing I done was like switch it, put the real flight in because that's what bit I was on. So yeah, anyway. Right, okay. I think this is me. Hang on. Yeah, I think this is Rostov's attempt at getting into the rear hemisphere at Chevy. Seem to maybe take a bit of time to try and do that. And John says, by my reckoning, you're correct and cannot get into the rear hemisphere with 4 or 5 movement points. It's just the way their flights are set up. And 1 minute 12, yeah, that was good to get an answer to then. Yeah, it was, he says, I agree that the -1 target and rear hemisphere applies. So it must have been looking at engagement, target and rear hemisphere. Yeah, I think, yeah, what it means is we had already moved into the hex. So do you still get that? I mean, you've came in from the rear hemisphere. So I know on the geometry table you do get that because I remember querying that before. But I just wondered about that, and he says that he agrees you would get that as well. That makes sense as well. So yeah, that was it. He says another well executed combat. Congrats on shooting down ace number 2. Here's hoping the bombing and the rematch with ace number 1 go well. Well, they do. So and that can't be a spoiler because you would have watched it already, wouldn't you? Well, unless you've jumped ahead, I suppose. So thanks again for your comments, John. I'm sure there will be more to come, like I always say. So that's us kind of up to date. Well, 21 minutes gone by there. Okay, so I've got time to do a bit. Just going to get this out of the way. I don't my pause, Grant. Okay, yeah. So Warsaw Pac's turn. He's only got 1 flight. So well, technically we do need to draw a check in case he gets a 0, I suppose. We draw, it's a 4 on the large side, so should be good. 2 on the small side. So that's him going to activate Glasgow again. Well, now, yeah, oh, it's a different story, isn't it? Because he's got a board on him. He's also got a max turn. How's he got a max turn? Yeah, no, it was his last move when he was moving around the rally point. That's right, I remember that now. So I think there's another airfield here. Yeah, there is. I noticed that when I was watching. I was saying this is the nearest airfield, but I suppose this is. Now, is this a kind of pointless kind of exercise here? Can we make things a little quicker and just say, look, Glasgow is out of this? Because for him to get back and be able to do anything at all, I believe he's got to land and he's got to take off again. So, yeah, I kind of wish I'd maybe went and asked this question before I start this, because, well, I looked at it before, and did I not come up with a number 10, and that was the number of turns it would take? Here's take-off landing. Flight abort. Any flight that aborts may move freely. There are no specific restrictions to aborted behaviour because there are too many variables that would influence that. Okay, fair enough. But it can't initiate air-to-air combat or conduct air-to-ground attacks. So, I mean, we could attack it again, but remember, Chevy's aborting as well. He's got nothing left. In fact, no, we cannot attack it again, because Chevy is the only one that could have initiated air-to-air combat. Whereas the Tornado and the 2 bombers are on missions that don't allow them to initiate. So nothing can attack here. So it says there are too many variables that influence it, but an aborted flight should avoid all combat and attempt to land at an eligible airfield, 9.14. So landing, can he land there? Yeah, these are all quite big. Well, actually, that was a 1. That was a 1 up there, but that's a 4. And is airfield rating as a 2, don't know if you can see that. Zoomed in a little bit. There's a 2 anyway, so he couldn't actually land there anyway, but he can land there. But let's just say it takes 3 game turns to land. That's how it starts off. Once landing is begun, the procedure cannot be stopped. Fights may always run. I'm not going to read through all of this. So if it takes 3 turns to land, and bear in mind, I think he's maybe got to turn to get there. So that could, well, let's just say he can start that landing in this turn. So that's going to take 3 turns. And then once he's landing, right, a flight that has landed is unready and must be made ready before it can take off. Okay? So then we move to 9.12. Wait a minute. Well, can I show you? Can I show you a bit of this? Things in the way a little bit. Let's see. I've had to fold the book over a little bit, but where's my tweezers going? Right. There. Right, so 9.4 landing. Like I say, it takes 3 game turns to land. Once landing has begun, the procedure cannot be stopped. This is on page 15, by the way, under, I don't know the full title to this section, but that's landing. And then, rather than read the rest of that, if we just go to the top and just read what it was I'd read to you, it says, a flight that has landed is unready and must be made ready before it can take off again. Okay, so, and my guess is if a flight aborts, it just says it's got to land again, so I'm assuming it needs to land, and then that's making it ready again. Well, I'll look a little more into abort in a minute, and then, so we've got flights in the ground. Remember, we've taken 3 turns to land, and now we're in an unready state. So this one here, that's a wee bit further down, right? It says, unready flights take 5 game turns to change to ready state. As noted in the admin phase, the flight is ready on the 5th admin phase after commencement, right? So that's 8 turns. Why did I get 10 then? I can't remember. Flights, yeah, okay. And then, yeah, here we go. Sudden takeoff. So that's 8 turns, and then 9.13 takeoff. It takes 2 game turns to take off. Ready flights, including dummies, may take off in any movement phase. Place the flight in the airfield, flip to its undetected side. On the first turn of the movement, that's maybe too far down. The first turn of the movement, the flight remains in the airfield hex at deck altitude. The flight may not initiate air combat in the first turn of movement. Second turn of movement, the flight moves the number of movement points equal to half round up of its speed. On the third and subsequent turns of movement, it moves normally. So it takes another 2 turns to get back to that normal state. So that is 10 turns. That's 3 to land, 5 to become made ready from an unready state, which is what it is when it lands, and then another 2 to take off. So that's kind of not any good. That's 10 turns. 10 turns before this guy's going to be up in the air again, at least. It might also take him a turn to set up the landing bit as well. And we're on turn 6. So I think rather than waste the time with that, because we can't shoot it down either. We can't shoot it down because, like I've just said to you, the only person that could have attempted to do it is Chevy. We've still got Lion, yeah, he's got weapons, but he can't initiate, he can't start the attack. And this can't start the attack because it's an abort. So I think I feel comfortable enough to take this off the map and be done with that. Now, we did not shoot that down because we'd just be going through the process of, like, you know, you can see what I'm saying. I think it's pretty straightforward. I wasn't going to be able to do anything, so I think I'll just take that away, and you know, we don't need to do anything with the Warsaw Pact side of things. Now, we will carry on with this mission because we do need to see how the bombing goes. Now, nothing could have interfered with that, so it doesn't matter. So we're just taking that out of the way. And me spending all this time talking about it is probably daft as well, where I could have just got moving on with it. you know what? If you do that, could you not take the Phantom out of the play as well, Grant? And yeah, I mean, we don't need to do anything with this, and we don't need to do anything with this either. It's just about the bombing mission, isn't it? So can't I just strip this down and just move our bombers until we complete our bombing run? I mean, yeah, the bombers could still get shot. I think the only place that they're going to get shot at is in here. If I move them carefully enough, I mean, I've got to move into here and then move into there and then up round there to do it. So it's a kind of roundabout kind of way. Okay, I'm gonna take a chance with this, and it seems a bit yucky taking these other flights away, but there's not a need for them. This guy's just going to go back and land. This guy now, Lion. Now I said he was going to interfere with Glaskov, but Glaskov's finished now as well. So Lion's got nothing to do as well. There's no any other flights that can appear. So I'm going to take these 2 flights off the board and just leave us with these bombers, and that should just speed this bit up to the end, I think. Yeah, I know it feels a bit yucky doing that, but let me know what you think about just doing that. I feel like in the situation I was in, it makes more sense to do that. Hopefully I've not missed something that could have still happened. I mean, I suppose we've got events that could... Well, you know what, if I roll an event and... I don't know what... the aircraft were in an aborted state, weren't they? See, when you roll... It's only if they've taken damage at the end, I think. None of them had took damage. You know, they weren't damaged or crippled. Either, I mean, if they'd been in that state, I could maybe see the sense in leaving them up there, because I know we do have that event that triggers... What? It sends a damaged aircraft to crippled state, and a crippled one that gets crashed. So, but we didn't even have that, so, yeah. Let me know what you think about that, and it's just to get moved on, and, well, it looks like I'm closing in on the end of this, and I've got some time tonight as well. Well, if I get moving, who knows if it's... I'd see, the big part is like, what bit of the map am I using next for scenario 4, you know, and, well, there could be some rules that I need to read up, so whether I'm going to be able to quickly put that together or not. Well, if you get on with it, Grant, we might see. Okay, so we've moved this bomber. So, yeah, so I'm just going to move my 2 flights every turn now, and we'll do all the steps, but we'll just move these 2 bombers, right? Okay, so, well, this one's going to do its thing, isn't it? So we need to know... Now, I want to say this is play rig card 2 or 3 for dropping bombs. I think it's 3. Yeah, and we need to do it's a level bomb we're doing. Well, maybe you should get the actual weapons on show, Grant. What is it? CBUs, AT CBUs. I think we're looking for 16 or 17 maybe. 17? 16? Yeah, special munitions, cluster bomb units. Yeah, and that's what we've got. Now, we've got 6 strength worth of bombs per aircraft on our flight. So, 6 per aircraft, and there's 4 aircraft. So, 24 in each flight. AT-CBU bomb strength is doubled, but that's already catered for on our flight logs. Only level bombing profile attacks at lower deck altitude are allowed for AT-CBU. So yes, I know what I'm doing here, I think. Bomb runs to attack. The flight must first complete a bomb run. The flight starts its bomb run at an initial point. Yeah, okay. I'm not so sure there's too much involved in this. I think we need to... It's when we decide how much strength we're using. So, yeah, so we're activating Lizard. He's got 2 movement points. I don't need to put 2 dice up there. we're moving in here, and whether we put that IP up before we move in or not, I'm not sure it matters, but that is our bombing run. So we're then moving straight into the hex to carry out the bombing. So my facing's still the same. I'm at a low altitude, so I'm not affected by that because it would be at deck. So we don't need to worry about that. Just double checking. It's small arms, isn't it? Small arms only fires at deck, and that's what that is. So there's no issues with that. And in fact, yeah, the 2K22 are not. Yeah, 2K22. No. Yeah, we're at low altitude. Yeah, I cannot move into that hex actually. No, because he will fire. So from there, my next protocol is a complete turn into here, and then up, and then turn into there. That's what I'm going to do at next turn. However, we're on this. We're doing an IP. We've set our IP in there. We're bombing in here. So level bombing. Level bombing. IP is 1 hex from target. No climb or die permitted during the attack. Apply the level bombing modifier. Yeah, okay. Right, okay. So air ground attack table. Right. Let me put this chart up and we'll have a look at this. Right, so this is where we need to be. I believe this is parade 3, is it? Or 4? No, 3. There's 3 and 2 that deal with that sort of stuff. So 3. So yeah, so here's the table that we're going to be rolling on. Now these are before all we've used is the EOGM column and the arm column. Well, this is bomb points now. We're bomb strength points. Now we're doing. This is the actual dice roll that we would get, and obviously these are the results in here. So we can right. Well, my guess is I can send anything between 1 and 24 points of strength here, can't I? And obviously, if I put 24 in, I'm pretty sure it goes down to the 20 column. It rounds down. But I should maybe just have a glance at the rules for this, because we haven't done this. So let me just pause a second. Yeah, so I've looked at what we need to do, and I'm just looking, resolving attacks here, 17.4, and then 17.41, determine attack column. So this is what we are going to do. It says, first find the column the flight uses on the air-to-ground attack table. Flights with bomb ordnance, which is what we're doing, declare which individual aircraft in the flight with bombs are attacking and how many bomb points each aircraft is expending for this attack. Total the bomb points allocated, multiply based on the type of bomb target type if appropriate. I think that was just the fact, we've already said that we get double strength, so we're not going to mess with that, I don't think. And use the highest numbered column that is equal to or less than the attack value. Update flight logs, so I need to score off how many bombs have been used. Yeah, so do we... No, hold on, Grant. We've only got 2 bombing flights and we've got 4 targets. So yeah, like I said, it makes sense to think 12, doesn't it? It makes sense to say, let's go with 12. Now you can see 12, if we average, let's say we roll a 10, 12 is going to be a 3. Now that is the... Now, we'll look at modifiers in a second, but that is the actual damage thingies. That would be, so we put, I would put, if I got the 3, that's what I would put on the target. Is that right? Obviously, there's only going to be one of them going on the target because it's just the bomb strength. Where we were firing separate missiles, we would maybe put multiples of these on. Look up the result in the TACCOM. Yeah, PGMs roll once for each shot declared, but that's not what we're doing. These are bombs, not PGMs. If more than one attack is made on a target, place a separate marker. Roll for damage resolution at the appropriate time. Now, here's where things change up a bit, because if I recall correctly, previously any damage we've done on the ground has had to be dealt with right away because it was either SAMs or AAs. We go to damage rolls 18.1. There's an A and a B. We've got damage resolution for a target is rolled in the following circumstances. A, roll immediately for damage to AA, concentrations, radar AA, mobile AA, SAM unit, CWR, and flights on the ground. For all other targets, roll damage resolution in the bomb damage assessment phase at the end of the scenario. So we're going to do this and not know what the results are. So if we end up with a 3 on that, good enough. That's the best we can do. We fly off to our next target. So we need to just put as much as we can on these and see what the results could be. Now we could glance. I suppose we could glance at what, since we've not done this. But let's just check. Now I was just saying that's on our, if we rolled a 10 and we used 12 strength, we would get a 3 result. Let's just check some modifiers here first. Now it's all these that are involved, I think. So what we got? Bomb site values, say ADC. I want to say that's a +1. Yeah, it's got in the card +1. Let me just look at the aircraft data sheet for the Thunderbolt. Sight. Yeah, it's under sight. And it says it's a +1, yeah. There's some that are a lot better than that, +3s and +4s, but the Thunderbolt has a +1. So I think that's a starting with a +1. Target profile, A, B, C, D. Well, we need probably from the Dark Blue Defection side of things. Unless it might be in the main rules. Let me see. I'm not so sure. It does tell us their profiles in the DBD. Army ground units, it just says what they are. I don't see anything. No. Not seeing it. It might be that it's here, I don't know, but no, so right, it's in the main book then, must be. Okay, yeah, I found that. It's in the main book. It's under Army Ground Units. Who would have thought? Funny enough, there I looked at ground units and the index at the back, though. Ground units. And you know what? It doesn't. Under ground units, it doesn't reference Rule 27. And Rule 27 is Army Ground Units. It kind of tells you all about them. Kind of odd. And then what I've done to look for it, because I couldn't find anything there, was I looked under target profile in the index, and the very last suggestion is Army Ground Units 27.2. And right enough, Rule 27.2 on page 44 says Army Ground Units as targets. Armour and mech units are target profile B. Artillery units are target profile C. All other ground units, HQ, supply and missiles are target profile D. So we are armour and mech units. So they're profile B, which is a -1. That's not so good then. Oops, move that away. Okay, so that's going to cancel out our +1. Flight presses dive bombing profile attack. No, it's just a level bombing we're doing. Attack on the deck, low, medium, high. Alright, okay. Is everything not on the deck? Okay, maybe there's ways of bombing things up in the air then, I suppose. Or... yeah, I guess there must be. Well, we are attacking on the deck, so that's a +0. Okay. AA mods. Barrage, radar, and mobile. Right, nothing here, but I think this is where we would get that -1 modifier from the next unit that we get to. So we'll come back to that, well, when we get there. SAM attack possible hit. No. Radar bombing profile. Toss bombing profile. No. Level bombing profile. Rocket pods. Level bombing profile. Non-rocket pods. So we must be rocket pods then, aren't we? Level bombing profile. It says apply the level bombing modifier. Exception rocket pod. Oh no, maybe we're getting a -2 here. Listed attacks using level bombing profile. Apply a separate modifier listed on the air to ground attack table. APCBU and rockets. ATCBU. That's telling you the strength. Yeah, that's telling you where you would double up the strength, but that's already been done on the flight log sheet, like I say. Okay. What am I looking? Cluster bomb units then. So are these non-rocket pods? I'm assuming they must be. Cluster bomb units. Oh, well, level bombing profile. Yeah. Must be because rule 17.63 is talking about rocket pods. So that's a different thing. So we must have non-rocket pods here. A level bombing profile and non-rocket pods. Ooh, okay. That's not so good then. So we're now -2, aren't we? We were +1, then we were -1, then the next one that's apply is that. So yeah, we're -2. Target and haze missed. Visual attack from above a broken clown layer. No. Diver level profile attack at night. No. Strafing attack. Well, yeah, well, we're sitting at -2 there. So that's not the best. I mean, you can see that worst case scenario is a no effect if we really got bad and rolled. Well, remember with that -2, that would be a 4 or less, and we're not hitting at all. But as long as we get a 5, then at least we're getting a 1. And then the more likelihood of getting a 2 or possibly a 3, I suppose. Right, but let's see. Let's see what the damage could be. Okay, so this would be us in the damage table. So, and this is the actual success value number. So, with that at the time, thinking it was a 3, it would be down here. But noticing that we've got a -2 modifier to that. Let's just see, on the 2 column, if we say, well, we're hopefully getting that. Slight damage at a roll of 10, 11 or 12. There's no modifiers to this. Now, slight would just be slight damage for other targets, which is what we're doing. Heavy would be other targets, heavy damage, obviously, and then T would be other targets destroyed. So I'm just trying to weigh this up, that we might want to put more points in on one target just to see if we can get, because our objective here is to try and get 20 plus victory points to get the decisive victory. Now, we know we've shot down the 2 aces, that's 9 points. We've shot down their 2 aircraft, obviously, so that's another 4, so that's 13 points, which sets us in a victory right there. And we can't lose any points now, because there's nobody can shoot us down. Well, that's not technically true, I suppose. We do have an AA fire, possibly, that could do something, but maybe unlikely. So let's just say we're sitting at 13 points. So we've got a victory. I suppose we're trying to get that extra 7 points. So we can get that by, it's 2 points to slightly damage an armor mech unit, 4 points to heavily damage it, and 8 points if it's destroyed. So, you know, do we just spread our damage amongst all 4? I'm putting too much thought into this. I'm gonna just go in and put 12 points of damage on each one, I think, Grant. I think so. I don't, you know, I was thinking, well, why don't I jump it up to 16? But you can see there's not an awful lot of difference between 12 and 16. I think if you're going to do that, you've got to go up to 20, really. But then if I use 20, I've got 4 bomb points left from the flight to go into the next one, and then that means I'm rolling on this column. Maybe that gives me a better chance of trying to get a total destroyed, because a better chance of getting a 4 there, I suppose. I think I'll just stick with the 12 though. I think that's what we'll do. We'll keep it simple, and we should have just decided that from the start. Okay, so we've got to say what flight. So I'm just going to mark this off on the thing. I don't suppose it really matters. This is a wizard flight, isn't it? So I don't suppose it really matters, but I'm just going to mark off from flight 4 and 3. I'm going to mark their 6 bombs off. And that's 12 bombs that we are... 12 bombing strength. Remember, each one... It's only actually 3 bombs each these have got, but the strength of it's doubled because of the target that we're firing on. So that's aircraft 3 and 4 used up all its bombs. So we're assigning a strength of 12 here. Okay. So with that 12, well, we've already looked here. We don't need to go through it all again. Unfortunately, we've got a -2 modifier. So this is what we're rolling on. 2 dice. Needing it nice and high. -2 modifier here. So, here we go. Let's do it. Oh, I've got a 2, but I've also got a 10. So that wasn't quite so bad, but it's not brilliant. Maybe okay. 10. So I've got 12 -2, so I've got 10. So 10. Well, that's what I said I wanted, didn't I? That's what we looked at first. 10. So that's going to be a 3 result. So I'm happy with that. You know, I mean, okay. 4s, but I mean, for what we had, I think a 3 will do. So we take one of them and we mark that on that target, and that's that. Okay, so we've dropped the bombs here, and we've got a 3 result there, and we don't resolve that right away because of how it is. So basically, we just need to carry on dropping our bombs and moving through things. So that's everything. I don't think anything else happens. It's not sort of after bombing sort of situation, is there? We just drop our bombs and that's it. There's nothing to do after that. I don't think. Yeah, I don't believe so. Like I say, we can't check the damage table until the end anyway. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that flight would be marked as done, but that is going to be both flights activated, and like we've said, we've done away with everybody else, and he looks like he's going up the spine there. Yeah, well, he was heading to that guy, isn't he? So that looks fine. Okay, so right, sequence of play. Where are we? Card 4. Where is it? It's here. Right, so we've done. Well, we can probably skip through some phases here as well, because I mean, does it matter if we are detected or undetected as well? I don't think so. Anyway, movement phase, fuel phase, nothing to do. Time location phase, nothing to do. Track phase. Do we need to bother with this? Well, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it quickly. So, there's nothing at deck. We're at low altitude, both of them. So I'll just roll Warsaw Pact on the C column, 7 on the C. So a heart would go undetected. No, it was a diamond we were looking for, and I think he's across the other side of the front anyway, so I don't think it would have mattered. Okay. SAM acquisition, no. Admin phase. Yeah, nothing to do there. Oops. That should come away though, I think. Okay, so that's that. So that's a turnover. So we're on to turn 7, and we can just quickly, hopefully, move through this. He says, knowing that it's not going to be that quick, probably. Well, it should be. It should be quicker than my norm. And I'm going to keep that chart there because that's the only chart that we're really interested in, I think. Random event. Well, that is going to have to be looked at. I've rolled a 3. Nail comms failure. So if it rolled again, it clears and detection level shifts 1 column left. So we can take that away, and we're back to normal now. So not that it matters, but okay. So then jamming phase, detection phase. There's nothing to detect. Well, yeah, we should check for Cylon if he's detected by the Warsaw Pact. So yeah, okay, we will do it on the C column. Oh, it's 2 dice, this, isn't it? Sorry. On the C column, he needs a 12, no modifier. He needs a 12. He's rolled a 13. So Cylon is identified. He's heading up the spine there. No real biggie. I probably don't be having to do this. Movement phase, right. I'm not going to roll. It's just us that are going to go, because they've got nothing to do. And yeah, okay, so Wizard, we might as well just start with Wizard since we're there. What is his turn at a speed of 2 then? It's really good, isn't it? It's 180 degrees, because we need to turn straight away. So he's going to turn, and he's facing, so 30, 60, and then 90. And actually, I think I want to make it 120. I don't want to go on the spine of that, because then that's me and that hex. So 120 is my first movement point. Second movement point, I move in there and free 60-degree turn into there. That should be at low altitude. That is the attack success on that. Sorry, could have been a bit closer there. And one other thing before we forget, he is marked with a max turn because he finished on a free turn. Okay? So that's him moved. I don't think I need to go marking it with a cube. Oops, the daisies. Not done that for a while, actually. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not going to bother marking it because we're just going to keep moving on. So, Cylon, he's got 2 movement points. Yeah, no messing about. 1, 2. So, he's still facing down the spine because he can move in and attack next turn. So, that's good. And he's at low altitude as well. And, yeah, that's it. So, both flights moved. No fuel, SAM location, track phase. Okay, we'll roll on it. On the C column, we've got a 7. It's a heart again. A heart. Oh, I'm rolling 1 dice. Did I roll 1 dice the last time on that? Oh, you know what? I don't know if it matters. I've rolled a 10 on the C column. That's a heart in curly brackets. So no, it's not going to undetect any of our 2 flights. So that was track phase, SAM acquisition, admin phase. Yeah, I'm not missing anything. It's just, yeah, running through. So I'll move the dice now on to turn 8. And we'll just keep going. So, well, no, you need an event. We do need to do an event. So that's 10. Oh, that's the one where we can't attack, I think, isn't it? 10. Command confusion. Roll again. Oh, does it matter, Grant? I've rolled a 6, which means it is Warsaw Pact, so it doesn't affect them. But I mean, it just... Oh, well, actually... No, it's just air-to-air combat, isn't it, that stops. That side fights may not initiate air-to-air combat, so it wouldn't matter if it was NATO we rolled anyway. There's nothing to air-to-air. Okay, so moving on again. So I'm just going to stick with Wizard. He cannot turn to start with, but that's fine. I'm just going to take that off and go 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. Now, so I set my IP there now. Yeah, I'm a little unsure about how all this works. I don't believe it's any kind of big issue, but because the thing is, next turn, right, I want to carry out my bombing mission by moving in there. Now, I know I can't turn while I'm doing it, but once I've dropped my bombs, I then want to turn. Because I don't want to be moving into this hex. Well, it doesn't matter, Grant. Just move 1 point. You know what? This is you doing your last thing anyway. That's fine. Okay, so I think I'm setting my IP now, but I've no movement points left. So, is that right? I think that's right. And then next turn, what I'll do is... I'm just... Look, I'll talk about it once I get to next turn, right? Okay, so Cylon now, let's do him. So he's going to move 1 and set his IP there. Is there another one of these? There must be, yeah. Give me a sec. Yes, there is indeed. So Cylon set his bomb and run there, and then with his second movement point, he's going right in. He doesn't want to move in here as well. So next turn he's going to make a turn to start with, but he's not finishing on a turn, so that's fine. So he's going to move in there, drop his bombs. I'm not going to mess about. We're just going to do the same again. We're just going to go for the 12 throughout. So again, I'll just mark off the 3rd and 4th flight, 3rd and 4th aircraft of Cylon flight as using up all their bombs. All 12 of them, 6 each. Well, 6 strength each. Like I say, I think it's only 3 actual bombs, but it just increases the strength because of what it's targeting, I think. Okay, so we've got a 12 there. And then we come across here again now. Nothing's changed, I don't think. We're same profile, same value, same site value, and then the one that we were getting the -2 seems to be this level bombing profile non-rocket pods. So we got a -2 on the 12 column. And here we go. Oh, it's not good. 8 -2 is 6. 6. You know what? It's still a 2, I think, isn't it? Yeah, it's still a 2. That's right. Yeah, I rolled 8 -2, 6. Yeah, that'll do. That's fine. I'll take that. So a 2 attack success there. And that's a 3. And that's a 4. There's a 2. Good. Okay, so a 2 attack success in there. And that's him done. That's just moved both of them. So moving out there again. No fuel spent. You just got this track phase, but I don't know why you're doing that, Grant. 12 on the C column. as nothing. So moving on. Right, that's it. Admin phase. On to turn 9. Okay. Right, on to turn 9. So then 7. Manpad ambush. Does that one work? Oh, I think it maybe does. Yeah, it does. What does it say? Roll 1d10 again, 1 to 5 Warsaw Pact, 6 to 10 NATO. Let's see what we get here. Right, I've got NATO. That player selects 1 enemy flight. Well, there's no enemy flights. I tell you what though, that could have affected us. If that had been Warsaw Pact, that player selects 1 enemy flight that is at deck low and on the hostile side of the front. Which, yeah, I'm pretty sure Cylon is. Yeah, he is. So there you go. For a manpad ambush, make a heavy AA barrage attack on selected enemy flight. The flight is considered to be at speed 3 if no enemy flight is eligible and there's no effect. So, in actual fact, that roll there has been good for us because it is NATO to do it. I'll tell you what though, if that Warsaw Pact fight had still been there, and yeah, we removed the other flights, you see that is an event that could have had an effect. Because now what would the soul, because they would what is it? Manpad ambush randomly select a human player flight among flights at deck and low on the hostile side of the front. But let's just say that, you know, these other flights that are removed off the map, they could have been part of that random selection. So there's one case where I shouldn't have removed the flights, really. I mean, we've got away with it with the roll, because the rolls ended up being NATO choice. But that could have went the other way. Yeah, well, yeah, there we go. It's just that they weren't doing it and the other flights weren't really doing it. But it just shows you that could have had some effect. Because a heavy AA barrage could have caused some damage, clearly. Okay, well, we got away with that, but it's something to remember if we're thinking about just doing that in the future. Maybe we can't. It just means it's going to take longer to get through the scenario, you know. Okay, so event, detection, both are detected anyway, yeah. Right, so Moonman, yeah, we go. So, well, that should have came off because he's done his bombing run. Right, Lizard is on his bombing run. So my question here is, I think I might have asked this before. It says we can't swivel bomb in. It says no climb or dive permitted during the attack. Right. Did I not see somewhere where it says you couldn't turn? Or am I making that up? Looks like I'm making that up. That's probably for air-to-air combat then. You would think that was more of a... So I think I can probably do... I think I could probably do this anyway if it was air-to-air, because what I'm talking about is we've got 2 movement points here. I'm moving in here to do my attack, and then I've got 1 movement point left. Once I've dropped my bombs... well, actually... Can't I just do a free turn when I move in? Well, that would be illegal in a... I think that would be illegal. In fact, does it not tell you? Bomb runs. Here we go. Then move the flight from the IP directly towards the target hex without turning. Yeah, there we go. So I've moved it without turning. I want to say it's between the IP and the hex that you're not allowed to turn. So if the IP was back here, then I can't sort of go in there, turn, go in there, turn, go in there. I can't do that. But I think I could probably move from there to there and do a free turn before my bomb in. To play it safe, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move in there. We're going to do the bomb in. I've got 1 movement point left. Yeah. Yeah, let's just do it that way and play it safe. But let me know if I could have done a free turn there at the end of that and still been okay to carry out the bombing run. That's, yeah, okay. Right, so, well, I've got 1 movement point left. I think I can interrupt this with bomb. I mean, we're flying along, dropping the bombs, and we're still on the move, so we've got 1 movement point left. So again, it's a -2 here. Nothing changed. So let's just do it. -2. That's 10, but we found out the last time we only rolled an 8, and it was pretty good. So 10 -2 is 8. So the length thing is a 2. Oh, just a 2 though, almost a 3 there. Let's stretch up there, get 1. Okay. Right, there we go. Oh, wait now. We should have an extra modifier for that, because this is the one that's got bad Hairsfield. And beyond that, right, we'll keep the roll. Well, obviously that was me rolling for that. So, but we need AA fire first, because I'm at low altitude and I'm in the barrage zone of the bad Hairsfield. So, oh man, if I turn in there, I'm going to get shot at again. Right, wait a minute here. Okay, well, I suppose I kind of need to know now then, don't I? Because what I don't want to do is finish my second movement point is turning that hex. Because if I turn in that hex, it's still me spending a movement point and they'll fire again. So, if, however, I'm allowed to move from there to there and do a free turn when I reach there, before or even after the bombing, that doesn't... Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I know it says... Yeah, because they will fire if it expends a movement point turning in a barrage zone. Where's the bit that says... Yeah. I think I asked... We came across this before, because it says, note that a flight that enters a barrage zone and descends an altitude band in the same movement point is only attacked once. And I think I got the answer from John about it being the same as when you move into a hex and do a free turn, you're only attacked once. And that's what I'm not sure if I can do here and make the bomb and run legal still. Right, what we'll do is we'll take a chance here. Right, I think we're going to take a chance, and then if the die result goes wrong, we'll need to find out what's going to happen. So we're rolling on... Right, hang on. So we're rolling on this AAA table, and it's small arms. No, it's not. It's light AAA, and we're at low altitude, so it's a 16. But see that -1? That -1 is going to apply to our bombing run. So that 10 that I got, that I said was getting reduced to an 8 because we had a -2 modifier, is actually reduced to a 7 because we've got a -3 modifier. So, right, remember we've got a 10. We've got a 10 result. So we're rolling on this. So we don't want a 16 or higher. I've rolled a 6. Right, good. Okay, so we've survived that one. So going back... Right, I'll just take that away because the other sheet's still there. So that 10 that we rolled should have been modified an extra -1, and that was due to this here, AA mods, and that wee -1 that we had. So that reduced our 10 to not an 8, it reduced it to a 7. Did that make any difference? It did not. So we still get the 2 result. So we still have the 2 attack. Right, and I'm going to take a chance with this, but let me know, John, if I could have turned freely there in that hex and then not had to do this. Because now I'm going to have to spend a point to... In fact, I just want to get out of here. Well, actually, hang on. I've not marked my bomb points off yet. This is Lizard, isn't it? Well, that's him used up all his bomb points, isn't it? Because we used 12 again. So maybe don't really need to do that. So it doesn't really matter. He's just wanting out of there now. He wants to get back on the good side of the front. If he's... Yeah, he must be on the bad side, is he? I don't know why I'm scoring all these out, but makes it... Keep it right, just in case. So yeah, so he's now going to spend the movement point to turn, which means that the AA is going to happen again. But if I could have done what I said I wanted to do, I would have been in a free turn facing that way anyway. I would have had a free... What is it I get? Free 90-degree turn, you know. So let me do 30, 60, 90. Well, yeah, I'm just going to do 120. We'll do 120, but... Oh dear, wait a minute. That's a 120-degree turn. But if I'd been able to do a free turn and still do the bomber run, I would have had a 90-degree turn, so I would have been facing up the spine. But I'm hoping now I need to take this check again. So again, we're rolling and not 1 of 16, because it means the AA is going to fire again. Here we go. Oh, I've rolled 18. Right, well, we maybe need to find out. Well, you know what? If I had to do that, that's what would have happened. However, if I did not have to do that, I won't take the damage result. In fact, you know what? I know this, right, taking this back a bit. That's me. I'm facing 90 degrees, because that would have been the free turn I would have got. Just to keep that right. However, I'm deciding that, just in case that's not right, we've spent the movement point to move 90 degrees. I've now rolled 18, which is bad. So what happens now? We need to look at the damage table here, don't we? Right, let's look at this damage table. The thing is, this bomber's done his thing, so we'll see what happens here, and then if John comes back and tells me, no, you could have done that free 90-degree turn, then we would not be in this state, right? So, however, let's just assume the worst, that we are in this state. So we're rolling 2 dice on the AA damage table. Now, there's some modifiers down here. We've got barrage AA damage modifiers. Right, it's on these. So is it medium or heavy? Alright, I can zoom in a little bit there. Medium, heavy, no. Target on bomb run / recon run, it is... Now, we want a low number here. Yuck. Right, so that's a +1. Stinger, NSC3 apply... Right, that doesn't apply. Target speed less than or equal to 2. Yeah, he is. His speed's 2. So that's a +1 as well. Yeah, that's a +1. Parry, suppression, no. No any sight, no. No. Right, so we've got a +2 on this die roll as well. Oh dear. Right, so 2 dice and a +2. We want this low. I rolled 12. That doesn't feel low enough. So that's 14. So we've got 14 barrage. We've got C. Oh dear, that's crippled, isn't it? So that is the result that we've got. 14. Yeah, C. So it's crippled. Right, what does that mean then? Crippled aircraft, this is 12.22 on page 20. Crippled aircraft are treated the same as damaged aircraft. Right, okay, so a damaged aircraft says are not counted towards the total aircraft available. Oh, wait a minute. I need to know what aircraft it's hitting. Oh, I missed something here. A damage table. Mind you, the bit I'm looking at this is like, would be after air-to-air combat, so I'm not sure. Right, hang on a sec. Right, okay, I'm just looking. Resolving flat barrages, page 22, 14.41. So if the roll is equal to or greater than the number listed, the target flight is hit. If the target is hit, roll for damage on the barrage Right, hang on. On the barrage column of the AAA... Where are we here? Yeah, here we are. That's what we were just looking at. So the barrage column of the AAA damage table. So we've done that. Roll two dice and apply the AA barrage modifiers to obtain the damage result. We've done that. So it says D damages one aircraft, C cripples one aircraft, K shoots down one aircraft. So it is only just doing one aircraft. If more than one result is listed, e.g. KCD, yeah, you can see as the letters go down, all are applied to the flight in the order chosen by the AAA owner. All are applied to the flight in the order chosen by the AAA owner. Use the damage allocation table to allocate the results within the flight and conduct any applicable post-combat procedures. There's post-combat procedures? Okay, so it actually does look... So we've got a crippled result. So I think it's across here. Use the damage allocation table. Yeah. To allocate the results within the flight and conduct any applicable post-combat procedures. Right. So I'm going to roll one dice on this. We've got one crippled result. So we need... now there's 4 aircraft in the flight. Okay. So I've rolled a 4. So that is a C2. So it says, if result is C, allocate the result to a crippled aircraft in the flight instead. Well, no, the result's a crippled result. So it's aircraft 2 that's going to be crippled. So I think I was using the purple pen for damaged, and I'm going to use the red pen for crippled. We've not had crippled before. So that's second flight a Wizard. Second aircraft a Wizard. I'm going to mark him with a red pen as crippled. Now, it does talk about post-combat procedures. Let me just jump back to what crippled meant. Damaged aircraft must immediately jettison all air-to-ground ordnance. Well, I've done my bomber run, haven't I? Yeah. Wow, okay. So, but this was after the bomber run, because this was the second point after, and I moved, didn't I? And like I say, if John comes back to me and tells me, no, you were fine to do a free turn on that hex and only check once on the AA barrage, then I'm taking this crippled status away. Crippled aircraft are treated the same as damaged aircraft, except a flight with one or more crippled aircraft may not select dash throttle on future game turns. Flights with crippled aircraft may be split in the admin phase. It's not a big deal, although am I not going to lose points for that? Here's me saying I had no chance of losing points, but that was the one chance I had. We've got enemy aircraft recovers crippled. I don't know what that means. It says enemy aircraft recovers crippled, enemy aircraft recovers damage. Is at the end of the flight, end of the scenario, you do a roll or something? Because we've never had this, have we? We did have a damaged aircraft at one point, but I don't know if that was relevant. Now, okay, well, we'll look at that when the scenario ends, I think. I think it must be, or is it in the admin phase? Recovery phase. Roll for recovery of any remaining on-map flights. See, I think it could be in there. 20.2. Crippled. 20.2 recovery rolls. At the end of the scenario, all aircraft inside must be recovered. Those that do not recover safely count as destroyed for victory point purposes. Okay. Aircraft in a flight that lands at a friendly open airfield automatically recover safely. The flight is damaged or crippled aircraft. Okay, so we do actually need to roll for recovery. When was that? That's after the scenario. So that could come in it, and it could be that we end up with not just a crippled result and lose just the 2 points, but we could lose... We could end up with an aircraft crashed or shot down and lose 4 points instead. Okay, well, I'm still hoping John's going to say, no, you were fine, you didn't need to do that check. Yeah, the other thing was, like, it said about doing post-combat procedures. Following damage allocation in the standard air-to-air, Following an AA or SAM combat that inflicts damage or losses, the defending flight only performs the following actions and... Oh, we conduct a morale check. Okay. Right, well, we do, yeah, we need to conduct... Oh, that's just down there. That's fine. We conduct a morale check, and then we place disorder abort markers as applicable. Then we roll for bailouts, and then damage or crippled aircraft, jettison ordnance. Well, we've just dropped our last bomb anyway, so we don't need to be doing that. But we do need to roll for this. It might not matter as well, because we're finished anyway, isn't it? So our aggression value is, for Wizard, is a +1. Surprise disadvantage. Per friendly aircraft crippled, we get a -1. So -1 +1 cancels each other out. Roll 2 dice. We want high, I hope, because I've rolled 18. So that's under the... yeah. Yeah, it's a bit easier here. SAM AA combat, look. Only need a 6 or greater for no effect. So no effect there. And then we would jettison our ordnance if we had any left, but we don't. So, okay, so he's done his thing. And like I say, if we find out from, no doubt, John, that I didn't need to do that second AA barrage, I will just have that fight not crippled anymore, and will not bother doing that recovery thing at the end. Okay, so that was yeah, I'm going to mark this now, because I'm starting to think that I was just wondering there if I'd done that. That was the first one we'd done. Yeah, okay, so it's just down to Cylon. He's the last one. He's got 6 bombs left, so now I think he's got to turn here to start with. Yeah, okay, so he makes just a 30-degree turn, to be honest, for 1 movement point, and then 2 in there, turning 60 degrees for his second movement point. Sorry, that's for that armoured unit. Finishes with a max turn as well, and he's at low altitude, and it's all getting a bit cluttered in there. That's him finished. That's both our flights moved. We will yeah, that's okay. We will move on. Track phase, to see if any become undetected. You never know. I'm just going to do it because I've rolled a 9 on the C column, which is a spade in curly brackets. So a spade, he's at low, but he's on the wrong side of the front there, I think. Any flight at low on its own side of the front. Yeah, so it doesn't work. He doesn't become undetected. Admin phase. Well, actually, I think, am I not right in saying Wizard should be abort now anyway? Because he's no bombs left. So I think as soon as he dropped his last bomb emission, abort if all air-to-ground ordnance jettisoned. Well, it's not been jettisoned, but the other ones say jettisoned / depleted, so I'm assuming that's just been missed out by accident. Is it? Well, the thing is, we just got instructed to jettison there anyway. I'm assuming it's got an abort on it, right? So Wizard flight. Where's his? No, it's there. Yeah, it's kind of messy in here, isn't it? So he's at low altitude. He's got a port. That should be away, I suppose. Okay, all good. Right, on to turn... Right, moving on to turn 10 now, I think. So yeah, but we've just got one more to go for. So we should be able to finish this. Again, I'm still rolling for events. But you seen that one was... So I've rolled 16 here. You seen that one could have had something... SA5 attack. What the heck? I've not seen this one. It's not one that gets ignored as well. Randomly... Oh no, come on. Randomly select one NATO flight tasked with standoff or escort jamming at medium or high altitude. No, that doesn't apply. Off-map standoff jamming flights may not be selected. Roll 1d10. 1 shot down, 2 crippled, 3 damage, 4 miss. Regardless of die roll, flight takes SAM attack morale check and may not stand off, spot jam or spot jam this turn. Right, well we've no standoff or escort jamming anyway, so I think we can forget about that one. Doesn't sound very good though. That's not one we want for, I want to say our next mission. I've got the feeling jamming, I'm sure that's when John said it starts next mission. So we want to avoid that result, that event, I think. Whether it would apply and do anything or not. Right, jamming phase, detection phase, we don't need to do. Right, movement phase, so yeah, I mean, you know, Lizard's just getting out of there. He's had enough. So 1 free turn, 2. He's in there. He's aborting. He's just getting out of there. And then right, and then the final, in fact, I think this can be just the final wee touch here, can it not? So Cylon moves 1 and sets its IP there, and then moves in here to carry out his bombing. Oops. He's facing the hex side. Right, so he's going to drop his last 12 bombs. I'll not bother going marking that off. Again, we've got the -2 modifier. Just try to finish this up. We're at near 32 minutes. Right, -2 on this. Oh dear, this isn't good. 6 -2 is 4. That could be bad. I'm at the wrong bit. Oh no, I'm not. Well, we've got a 1. We've got a 1. But that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all, was it? Okay, so if that crippled result does matter, we might be having to add up the numbers to see what's what. Okay, so, well, to be honest, I think we can just finish off there, can't we? He's finished moving. I mean, we've got the track phase, admin phase. Yeah, there's nothing more that we need to do there. Well, apart from completing the scenario. Well, let's move on to that. Completing the scenario. You've got 3 phases: recovery phase, bomb damage assessment phase, which we're keen to know, and victory phase. Players' total victory points. Compare them and check for victory. Well, in the DBD, but that'll be what we do there. So yeah, I think we've done everything that we need to do, don't we? We've no bombs left, so that's it. And there's no other checks. Our flights can safely fly away now. They don't need to be... although you say that, see if you went into turn 11 and see if you rolled that event, Manpad Ambush, and see if you rolled 1 to 5 for Warsaw Pact. Do you get where I'm coming from there? And technically we're only on turn 10. Thoughts? Yeah, okay, well I'm not going to go into that. And we can just kind of assume that it didn't happen. And then we climb to like some better altitude. We climb to medium altitude to get away from it or something. Okay, bombing run marker can come out of there. Okay, well, I need to, this recovery bit. Roll for recovery of any remaining on-map flights, 20.2. Well, I looked at this already, so let's see what this goes on about then. At the end of scenario, all aircraft on a side, this is 20.2, page 40, recovery rolls. All aircraft on a side must be recovered. Those that do not recover safely count as destroyed for victory point purposes. Aircraft in a flight that lands at a friendly open airfield during a scenario automatically recovers safely. See, and again, here's another thing. I mean, okay, we probably wouldn't have the time to try and land these. No, we definitely wouldn't. And the fact that this is closed, it's probably our nearest airfield. Yeah, we wouldn't. But you could see that we do have 4 turns left. If it'd been a faster... Yeah, maybe not. Okay. Aircraft in a flight that exits the east or west map edge, a scenario playing area during a scenario or not end... Or end the scenario on the map. Automatically recover safely and do not need to roll for recovery unless... Right, okay. Unless the flight's fuel point allowance has been exceeded, the flight exits the north or south edge of the map or scenario playing area on enemy side of the front, or the flight has damaged or crippled aircraft. And that's where Lizard... well, let's just say it may apply to Lizard. I'm not... Yeah, I could see that going either way, I think. But we'll assume the worst for now, right? If condition A or B apply, well, it doesn't. If only condition C applies, roll only for damaged or crippled aircraft in the flight. This roll takes place in the fuel phase of the turn. The flight exits during a scenario, or in the recovery phase if it ends a scenario on the map. Right. Roll 2 dice for each aircraft. Recovery phase. Yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah. Roll 2 dice for each aircraft, not flight. If the roll is 2 or greater, the aircraft recovers safely. Otherwise, the aircraft is lost. See the recovery table and play red card 3 for modifiers. Play red card 3. I think that's the one we've got here, isn't it? Yeah. I'm not kind of seeing that. Collisions, runway repair, some ammo. Bailouts, no. Oh, there we are, recovery. Yeah, I was looking for the words recovery, but... right, here we are here. So, I think this is what we're doing, and I think it's... Is it only for the aircraft that's being crippled then? Must be, yeah. This roll takes place... Yeah, it says, if only condition C applies, which is what we're at, roll only for damaged or crippled aircraft in the flight. So my guess is we're rolling for aircraft 2. That kind of makes sense. We don't need to roll for them all. Oh, there's a -7 there. Yeah. Okay. That's not good. Right, okay. So we're rolling 2 dice. Yeah, I think we just need to look here. So, per fuel point exceeded, well, that's not applicable. Aircraft is damaged, -2. Aircraft is crippled, -7. Per full or fraction of 5 hexes, the flight's exit hex is on the enemy side of the front. Yeah, I don't think that applies. So we do actually have a -7 here. And so if this fails... otherwise the aircraft is lost, so that means it's crashed. Right, so we need a biggish roll here. I thought I wasn't going to be needing that big a roll, but that -7's changed that a bit. So, right, we want greater than or equal to 2, where we've got a -7. Oh dear. I rolled 6. So 6 -7 is -1. Right. Okay, so that aircraft's crashed in. Unless, of course, John comes back and saves it. Which might be the case. Okay, so bomb damage assessment. So I think that's all we needed to do there. So let's just assume, like I say, that we've lost an aircraft. And we can alter it if it needs be. If John comes back and says, no, you were fine, how you done it. So what do I want to do? Bomb assessment, right? Where's that about? 18.1 and 24. 18.1, 24. Recon runs. No, it must be on just 18.1. Yeah, no, it's... Yeah, we're just resolving our damage here, aren't we? Is that on this chart? Yeah, it's just on here, isn't it? So we'll go from bottom to top as we bomb them. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And see how we get on. Obviously, yeah, slight, heavy, or destroyed. They're all going to give us points. So at least... Well, no, I'm saying at least we're getting something. We can still end up with no effects. In fact, the one is going to struggle, isn't it? So no modifiers here. So let's roll in the best one first. So we've got a 3 here, down here on this armoured unit. Rolling 2 dice. So we want this high on the 3 column. Here we go. 10 isn't high. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I mean, it's not a destroyed, but it's just a heavy. Alright, I don't know if you can quite see that. I zoomed out. I wanted to keep the other thing. So that's heavy damage. We've got markers for that, haven't we? Yeah, we have. Right, okay, so heavy damage. So basically that turns into a heavy damage. So good. Yeah, because it's other targets that we're doing here. They're ground targets. So heavy damage for that one. So next one, the one at Bad Hersfeld, is a 2. So let's roll on that. 9, but a 1 as well. So 10 again, but that was on a 2. Oh, I'll tell you what, we'll take it slight. Just a slight. So, yeah. So the one at Bad Hersfeld gets slight damage. So we'll take that away. Put that on. Right, now I've got the one further up that's got a 2 as well. Come on, give me a better roll this time. On the 2 column again. Oh, 6. It's getting worse. That's going to be a no effect. So that comes away with no effect. And then finally we've got the 1 at the top, which... Okay, it needs to be big. 7. Come on. Right, no effect there either as well. So, yeah, that wasn't that good then, really, was it? Okay, so that was bomb assessment. Right, so victory, well, let's just check our victory phase then. So there's our victory conditions for us. So we would get 2 for slightly damaged armour mech. We've got 1 slight and 1 heavy. So we get 2 points for that one, 4 for that. That's 6. We didn't destroy any. Right. NATO VP for Warsaw Pact aircraft shot down or crashed. Yeah, we shot down 2. So that's 6 plus 4 is 10. Right, if things are the worst case scenario, we have just lost 4 points for one of our aircraft being crashed. So that takes it down to 6. We did not recover crippled. That's what the result we kind of wanted. So that takes it down to 6. None of that happened. However, we did get Nikolai Krasnov shot down and Nikita Rekolov shot down. So 6 plus the 9 is 15. So we got 15 points. No points against us. Well. Oh, hang on. Warsaw Pact victory points for NATO. Yeah, I've counted that in there with them. So that's, to be honest, that should have came up. That should be their points for our aircraft being shot down, crashed. That was crashed, wasn't it? It didn't recover from crippled. So what did I say? 15 points. So we still are sitting at a victory. If yeah, we're still sitting at a victory anyway, aren't we? Because if John comes back saying no, that was fine, that unit wouldn't have taken that hit, we would have an extra 4 points, so we would be at 19. Yeah, just one short of decisive victory again. Of course, if John comes back saying no, you had to take the other hit, then that's a different story. But okay, well, that was really good. I think that's us done with that, so it was good to just get that finished there. I'd like to look at setting up the next scenario because I've got time tonight. That's kind of annoying. I hate when that happens. But I think there's probably... Well, I could start looking at it. You never know. I might be able to... Because if I'm not doing that, I've nothing else to do. Not game-wise to play, so... Well, I could have looked at that other thing that I was doing, but... Right, okay. Well, that was good. I'm still enjoying this game. I'm going to keep going. Yeah, I'm going to keep this set up on this table and move on to the next scenario when I get the chance. And like I say, that might be just when I stop recording and get this part uploaded, maybe. We'll have a look anyway. We'll have a look, see what... It might just depend on the map. I've got to move all the map about and change it all over, which in each of the 3 scenarios I've done, I've had to do that every time. So my guess is I'm probably going to have to move it, but you never know. We might get lucky. I think it's a progression in this area, so you never know. It might be that it's maybe only moving further that way or further that way a little bit. But anyway, we can see. Okay, I'll get this uploaded and I'll be back with another part sometime soon. Cheers.